It's time for the main event. Here comes the breakdown. Act 1, the setup.
Our film begins with the DreamWorks logo being illuminated by the sloth, Belt, from the first movie, who reminds us of the only thing anyone remembers from that movie by going, dun, 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 which is just as funny the 14th time hearing it. Right, guys? It's not too late to change that one. Do something else. Just right out of the gate.
Oh, my God. Yeah, this was like, I was like, fuck, this is going to suck. Thank God it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
We start with a cheery scene of Guy, the teenage genius we met in Croods 1, as a child who's just walked away from his parents, dying slowly in a tar pit. In case you forgot, Guy's parents got stuck in a tar pit and died, since there's no escape once you get stuck in it. But he and Greg made it out of one, no fucking sweat, in like 3 minutes. But, you know, he'd learn from that. You know.
Yeah, he figured it out.
Anyway, we see young...
I wonder if he, like, is just like, if I just would have, like, made a fake cat and had it try to hump another cat, we would have been able to get out of that. My parents would still be alive.
Right. Anyway, we see young helpless Guy remembering that his parents' last words were telling him to always follow the sun until he reaches tomorrow. Then we watch a montage of Guy's journey since then, first with him finding baby Belt, who somehow immediately doesn't say dun 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 the second he finds him. Big thanks to the writers for holding themselves in check. I wonder if the new writers were like, this is stupid. This is dumb. We're not going to do it anymore.
I just figured they would have taken advantage of the baby voice just to make it go dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Or like maybe Guy would have said dun 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 when he found it.
Yeah.
Like, thank God. That's where he learned it from. That's where he does it all the time.
The origin of dun dun dun. Years pass and we see Guy meeting Eep, Emma Stone's character, who was the protagonist of the first film, but this time it's from his perspective. Then we watch Eep narrating, where we recap the first film and show her falling in love with Guy, but we skip the part where Guy gives her mono and kangadillo herpes or whatever diseases they had. Big fluorescent colored half orangutan crabs crawling around in a loincloth. I'm just saying he was out in the wild for a long time and he's a teenage boy. So things happen.
I just imagine those crabs crawling around in the loincloths. But they're like half like orangutan.
Yeah, they'd be some hybrid. We see the Croods riding their murder cat through the vast world full of made-up plants and animals we were introduced to in the first film before heading into a volcanic canyon full of kangadillos, and Uga tells Grug that she told him not to take the canyon, which is a nice little LA traffic joke.
That's what the kids are looking for.
Guessing the kangadillos are there to even the score after Guy's transgressions.
So you got those kangadillo herpes.
God damn it.
The Croods jump over the title for this one, which crumbles just like in the first movie. And then we see the Croods use their skills to fight off creatures before they're all grabbed by some sort of giant bat mosquitoes. But Eep is too fixated on Guy and the butterflies in her vagina to notice.
God damn it.
She's got butterflies in her insides.
Yep.
Or whatever she says. We see Eep and Guy frolicking through the nightmare world madly in love while Grug gets attacked and injured nonstop in the background before cutting to some time later where Thunk takes a bite out of a monkey koala's ass. I forgot that was the kid from Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah.
Clark Duke.
I don't know what else he's done, but that.
The
Hot Tub
Office.
Time Machine 2?
Oh yeah, he was one of the interns in The Office, wasn't he?
Yeah, in the last season.
Yeah.
He was in, I just actually rewatched Superbad, and he's in the background in Superbad for a minute.
I thought that, but I was like, am I just confusing him with Jonah Hill? Because for a time they were the same person.
Pretty much.
Until Jonah Hill got famous.
Yeah.
They decide to camp, and Grug is again disgusted by Guy and Eep's teenage love fest, where the teenagers lightly slap rocks together while saying, hey, what? "Hey you," as the rest of the family cringes while watching on and slowly starving and freezing to death. Grug says Guy is useless now, and Guy tells him to chill, leading to the cagiest moment of either film so far. And Grug yells,
"No, you come on, man! I'm gonna chill you out. Easy."
Get a lot more cagey moments in this.
Way more.
Way more.
Which seems to happen in sequels. If you remember back to National Treasure, it was like no cagey moments in the first movie, and then 50 off the bat in the second one.
Cheerio.
Hello.
Governor.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, governor.
Uga stops Grug from smashing Guy's skull and tells him that eventually Eep and Guy will leave the family and start their own, which doesn't sit well with him at all. That night in the orgy, the cuddle pile, Guy slithers his way to Eep past Thunk's junk and Grug's grug nuts, where he tells her it would be nice if they had a place of their own without the rest of the pack, while Grug listens to the whole thing. Guy
He
gives...
kisses his hand like in the middle of it.
I was thinking.
That's not my hand.
Guy gives Eep a rock, which I guess was the Paleolithic version of an engagement ring, and Grug is heartbroken at the thought of losing his daughter. Grug takes a walk and stumbles upon a giant wall where he screams,
What the heck is that?
It's 2 cagey moments, and we're like 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. 10 minutes less.
Family wakes up to Thunk's stomach, which vibrates like a silenced phone, before Grug runs out of the trees, prompting the family to make a kill circle, and Graham screams, "Today's a good day to die!" And they smash Grug in the face with a rock, and he tells them, "It's okay, never apologize for an effective kill circle." He leads them all to the wall. When they see it, Belt says, "You fucking know what he says." Goddamn sloth. They make a third one of these. It's just going to be called the Croods. Dun, dun, dun. That's what we should call it when the series is finally ended. It's dun, dun, dun. The family seems to think the wall is the end of the world, which prompts Gran to say, "Well, that's it for me." And she climbs into Chunky the parrot cat's mouth, which I thought was great.
Yeah. Glad it's you,
I'm
Chunky.
glad it had to be you. Glad it's you. Grug kicks down the wall, revealing a paradise filled with food and waterfalls and a chocolate river and Oompa Loompas, and Grug plants a leaf flag and proclaims this their new home.
Oh, so glad you made a Willy Wonka reference.
Yeah.
I expected Grug to start singing, "And you'll see a world of pure imagination."
Oh, man, I want to see Cage's Wonka now.
Me too. An old Wonka.
Yeah, that'll be like the Spider-Man noir version of the new Wonka film. It'll put old Timothy Chalamet.
Come here, boy.
Just like the industrialized hellscape. He's an old washed up man trying to make chocolate and bring happiness to the world that's become increasingly capitalistic. And yeah,
You get
The Oompa Loompas
nothing.
have unionized.
Okay.
you get nothing. Good day, man.
Good day, sir.
Anyway, Grug gives a speech about how all their needs will be met here, so they can all stay together. But Gran interrupts him, saying she's hungry, prompting Grug to scream, "In a minute!"
3 cagey moments.
I think I did a pretty good job with that one.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't expect a colonialism allegory in this movie, but like I said, there was just some. They thought about things a little bit more than you'd expect them to.
Yeah.
While they all pig out on the bountiful food they found, while the movie turns into a psychedelic acid trip for some reason. And they stuff their faces while their eyes get all big and crooked, and circus music starts playing in the background. And they spin while lights flash on their faces. That's just weird as absolute hell. But maybe it explains the Bettermans a little bit and their behavior.
Yeah. That's why they're hippies. They laced all of this food with LSD.
Yeah. Grug sees some banana and he's stoked since he's only had one banana his entire life. And it was the best thing he's ever had. Was there a callback to the first one where he tries to eat a banana and then gets attacked by all the monkeys? Or did I make that up?
think so.
I thought
I
there was a
think
scene.
you're right.
I know he gets attacked by all the monkeys, and I thought it was because he was trying to eat a banana, but maybe not.
Oh, I don't remember. I know he sees the monkey and doesn't expect it to punch him in the face.
Maybe
or
that's what
something.
it was, and I was just confusing it. Anyway, if it was, I thought it was an interesting callback.
No.
But no.
It's so weird. Like, it's the only time he talks like a caveman.
He reverted
like
to
an
his
Indian.
childhood.
Yeah, I guess.
When he grabs the banana, some chicken seals fall from up above and start screaming, which releases a pulley and springs a Return of the Jedi trap. Like the Ewok traps. Exactly the same.
I think it's a predator every time.
The Croods come face to face with the worst foe they've ever encountered. And no, I'm not talking about the woolly crocodile or saber-toothed grizzly bear or some other fantastical beast. I'm talking about hippies.
Smells like patchouli.
Sandal sporting hippies.
Yeah, well, these sandals sporting douchebags realize the creatures are people, and they release the Croods. They overpronounce a greeting to the cave people, and Grug says, thanks. And then they introduce themselves as Phil and Hope Betterman, and they immediately recognize Guy and are overjoyed to see him since they all apparently live next door, or next to Guy's parents when he was a kid. Something, I don't know. Guy's a yuppie. Phil,
They lived in the burbs of
Yeah.
Cave World.
Phil explains that when Guy's parents died, it prompted them to find a better way to live, and they reveal a huge tree with several huts built on it. Hope condescendingly tells Eep not to climb the tree and says there's a Betterman way, which is their unofficial motto, as she reveals a bamboo elevator. Phil and Hope are disgusted by the Croods' dog baby, which tracks dirt everywhere and busts through the door of the elevator and probably shits in the corner. Thunk finds a window, and for the rest of the movie, it becomes a recurring joke analogous to teenagers being addicted to TV and iPads, and is literally the only character motivation for Thunk going forward.
I had one complaint about this movie. It's that, like,
Yeah.
and he never really learns to not like watch the window. Like,
Yeah.
even at the very end, he's still looking through a goddamn window. Like, even after he's like, maybe the window through which I view the world is flawed or whatever.
Yeah. Everybody else got some kind of character development, but
Yeah.
Thunk is just a joke the whole time.
I just feel like they didn't know what to do with him. I mean, it's funny. It's a funny joke, but it's like, it's really beaten into the ground.
Yeah. Phil tells Guy that his daughter Dawn will be so happy to see them, and we set up a love triangle that thankfully quickly turns into a friendship between Dawn and Eep rather than the played out trope we've seen 1,000 times before and we're probably all expecting.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Dawn is hiding in the panic cubby, which is an airless hole in a tree branch, and we quickly set up that Dawn has been completely sheltered from the outside nightmare world and has lived her whole life in this walled-in paradise. Dawn and Guy are overjoyed to see each other, and Eep is over the moon to meet another teenage girl for the first time in her life. Dawn reveals that she also has a sloth that she keeps on her at all times named Sash, and the sloths find love at first sight. I guess we needed that. My first reaction when I saw another goddamn sloth was to quote those Chinese fish people in The Phantom Menace, saying, "This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them." Eep spins Dawn in the air, and they turn into typical teenage girls screaming in excitement, which makes the dog baby howl. The Bettermans tell the Croods they're welcome to anything they want, except bananas, which really pisses off Grug since that's the only thing he wants. Phil and Hope are disgusted when the Croods attempt to sleep in a pile and instead show them their own individual cabins, including separate cabins for Grug and Ugga for some reason. Yeah, that's weird.
Separate
Yeah.
yet connected.
It's one of my Coppola questions is why would they have so many of these cabins set up already if there's only 3 of them living there?
Yeah, I really thought that there was some kind of darker story going on there with that. Like they were the only ones left for some reason after some kind of disaster.
They killed everybody in the commune.
Yeah, I really felt like it. But no, I mean, they're not great people, but they're not that bad.
Yeah. Could be worse.
Phil says, we Bettermans believe privacy promotes individuality, while Grug says, we Croods believe that the pack sticks together, no matter, but the family have all left and gone to their cabins. Thunk asks Phil, tell me about my room, Mr. Better Dad, and Grug is left on his own again. Everyone is over the moon to have their own room, except Grug, who can't sleep. It's really sad. He's just like piles furniture onto himself to try to sleep. But he busts through his wall into Ugga's room, and Ugga tries to convince Grug that they should all stay in this new paradise, and he agrees to give it a chance, showing that his character growth from the first movie is still intact, which I liked. They didn't just hard reset everything like they do in a lot of these sequels.
Yeah.
One of the things I appreciated about it. Phil and Hope chat while cleaning up after the Croods about Dawn finally having a mate in Guy, and they shit talk the Croods about how uncivilized they all are while probably scooping up Grug's turds in the living room. They say Eep and the Croods don't fit in, and we see them concoct a plan to get the Croods to leave the walled-in paradise without Guy.
This is where the movie had me at this point, you know. Like, I was not into it going into it because I didn't know anything about this movie, but like this was the point where the movie was like, all right, I'm in. Okay.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it was like, okay, well, there's clearly some more competent writing going on with this one. You know, it's not reinventing the wheel, but it's doing a decent enough job with expanding and putting these characters in a situation that's new.
Yeah, for sure.
Act 2. It's about time we had some conflict, wouldn't you say?
The next morning, Guy wakes up to the douchemans offering him some fresh bitter bean juice and a new pair of flip-flops. He tries to stop by Eep's room, but the Bettermans push him towards Dawn, and they all walk in their sandals in unison, and their blue rock necklaces shake around until you just want to take a ball-peen hammer to their heads. This one was like particularly like, I think it was like to get the audience to hate them. But, you know, also see, I don't know, they're quirky and fun, but they're also like douches.
Yeah.
Dawn leads Guy around the property, showing him all the genius inventions they created to make their life as easy as possible. The Bettermans are stoked that they turned Guy into one of them, and next we see him take a shower before Eep sees him with straight hair and a top knot, wearing the same dumbass hippie clothes that the Bettermans wear. He's been indouche-turnated.
I love that they gave him a man bun.
Yeah. I love, like, as the third act rolls on and he like starts to become himself again, that hair just slowly unravels. Eep and Grug are disgusted by pretty boy Guy, who smells like a tampon commercial, and Grug pulls Thunk away from the window before it rots his brain, which was basically already tapioca at that point. Eep gets excited to start a flirty fire with Guy, like we saw in the first act, but he instead uses some sort of giant match invention that the Bettermans created instead. Eep is heartbroken at her boyfriend not wanting to start a fire with her. You know what I mean? Because he's turned into a giant twat. So she sulks at the top of a tree. Dawn joins her, and she loves how different and adventurous Eep is. Immediately, she's like over the moon to meet a adventurous, I don't know, a teenage girl who actually like has done things and gone out and done stuff.
Yeah.
But
we didn't include Kelly Marie Tran in the starring.
No.
In the cast.
Yeah. I feel like I had to limit it at a certain amount, but there's only like 8 people in this thing. But you know, that's of course Rose from the new Star Wars movies, who got the shit end of the stick.
Yeah, we left her out and forgot about her, just like J.J. Abrams did in the third movie.
It's true. It's true. She's great in this movie. I mean, I feel like she's great in everything I've seen her in.
Yeah.
They just really fucked her character growth up in that third movie, as they did with everybody's. I hate those movies so much. Such failed opportunities. Dawn asks about all of Eep's scars from the many horrifying near-death experiences she's had over the years, and Eep realizes Dawn has never been outside of this walled-in paradise. Also, we find out that Eep is missing a toe that she replaced with a peanut shell. This reminded me, I know it's a kid's movie, but this really reminded me of the scene in Chasing Amy where they're comparing their scars from different times they've gone down on girls.
Oh, God damn it.
This time she was pushing me, pulled my neck out. Eep compares Dawn's situation to hers from the first movie where she wasn't allowed to go outside of the cave. So she takes Dawn on an adventure. She's kind of like the rebellious boyfriend all of a sudden with the motorcycle. They hop on Chunky the Mecanivore. All right. And Eep starts jumping shit like it's a dirt bike before climbing over the wall and away from the safety of the farm. You see that whatever creature over there? Want to jump it? I love that.
Yeah.
Dawn feels alive for the first time thanks to her butch new girlfriend, while a guy enlists the sloths to flush some fruit down a toilet while Hope watches on in horror. She gives Guy a photo album of the Bettermans and Guy's family drawn on some leaves or something, while Belt gets flushed down the toilet like a dunt deuce. Phil interrupts Grug trying to get Thunk to stop looking at the window for 5 seconds, while Phil rides in on a giant cross-eyed otter narwhal or something. They really went over the top with the crazy animals on this one.
I'm glad they leaned into it, though. Just lean into this unrealistic universe.
It's the chimera creatures. Phil asks Grug.
Wet dream.
Yeah. Yeah, if Lovecraft could make an animated movie nowadays, I wonder if it would look like this. Or it would just be a big racist parable.
Probably be scared of animated movies, so he wouldn't want to touch them. Fucking terrified of everything.
Phil asks Grug if he wants to go for a ride on his otter, which sounds way more sexy than it actually is. And while Grug holds Phil by the waist, Phil explains that the farm used to be a wasteland, but he diverted the water from a huge waterfall nearby to create this little paradise.
Another LA joke.
Shot of him like holding his waist.
Yeah.
Grug tunes this douche out before reaching for a banana, and Phil slaps him like a bitch. Like smacks him like a woman. I don't know.
Yeah.
Give him a quick schmack.
Jesus.
So you have the last word.
50 no's and a yes
Grug is
still
again
a yes.
confused as to why he can't have any of the bananas after spotting a giant shell full of them next to the wall. Phil asks Grug if he wants to see something really cool, and we see them go into a steam room behind a waterfall. Next, Phil asks if Grug has ever, thought about touching another man's... Wait. Sorry. That was a daydream that I had about Nigel, Vince, and I in a hot tub. Sorry.
Tell me, Grug, you ever been to a Turkish prison?
Uga cleans up the mess the family made when they ate a metric ton of the Betterman's food in that LSD fever dream that we saw from the day before. Hope shows up with a passive-aggressive gift basket and tries to talk Uga into leaving back into the wild. But Uga loves this new paradise. Just again with these names. Uga, thunk, Grug. Hope tells Uga the basket is for the road, and the least that they could do for the Croods bringing Guy back home. Uga can't believe the nerve of this cunt and angrily chucks the basket over the wall. Which she does with everything. She throws all the food over the wall.
Yeah.
They have a compost basket, and she throws that over the wall. We cut to Dawn and Eep riding through the infrared wacky world beyond the wall, which is all sorts of magical, until they slam into a hive of some sort, and Dawn gets a bee stinger through her hand that would put the nails used to crucify Jesus to shame.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Dawn's hand swells up like a balloon, but she's super excited to finally have a scar of her own. I mean, if only Phil would have just put cigarettes out on her arm when she was a kid, she wouldn't have felt so sheltered. Am I right?
Oh, my God.
She'd have all sorts of scars. Like the rest of us, Back in the steam room, Phil and Grug get half naked for some ass to mouth. I mean, for heart to heart. where Phil explains that he comes here to be alone and away from the family.
And watch gladiator movies.
And he offers Grug some shark milk. Shark milk, I think. That's what it was. It sounded like shark milk. Want some shark milk? Phil asks Grug if he's feeling relaxed, comfortable, susceptible to suggestion. I was kidding about the experimenting with other guys stuff, but it feels like that's where we're headed. It sort of paints that later on in the film, too.
There's some weird undertones.
Some undertones going on.
Yeah, just reminds me of that time with my wrestling coach back in middle school.
Hot and sweaty in the steam room.
We've all been there.
In the locker room after practice. We're the only two left. Except I was the one pressuring him.
Go ahead. Just get cleaned up. Yeah, that's you talking to him. Just get cleaned up, coach. Grug keeps complaining that it's hot, while Phil keeps telling Grug to open up to him while getting uncomfortably close while a bunch of really phallic-looking geysers spurt mist into the cave. I am fully Homo erectus right now, guys. Eventually, after another fever dream type moment where it keeps cutting back and forth and then close-ups on Phil and Grug's penis and I don't know. It's really
Was it
weird.
supposed to be like he drugged the shark milk or something?
I don't know.
It's really
weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you give him ayahuasca instead of called it shark milk.
Yeah. Grug screams, "I don't like it here, all right. My pack's all split up. There's no one to sleep pile with, and you won't let me eat a banana. Guy gave Eep a rock. He kissed my hand. They're planning on leaving the pack, and I don't like you at all." I love that.
So it's like, well, why didn't you just say you wanted to eat a banana? I mean,
I got a big one right here.
I don't call this the man cave for nothing.
Phil manipulates Grug into saying the Croods would be better off without Guy, and next we see Grug excitedly run to tell Ugga that he had the best time with Phil deep inside his man cave. And we see Grug has the same douche haircut and rock necklace as the others and like a back brace to make him not hunched over.
And the
sandals, the whole lot.
Yeah.
Ugga is disgusted by her husband's new look and tells him the Bettermans are trying to get them to leave without Guy, which would destroy Eep, which I think Grug didn't really consider that up until that point, that he would break his daughter's heart. Ugga says the Bettermans think they're so stupid that they trade Guy for a fruit basket, and we watch Grug push a fruit basket out of the room. I love that little detail. Just like a second-long joke of him pushing it out. Grug realizes both Hope and Phil have been gaslighting the Croods, and Grug gets so mad that his head grows a Neanderthal brow, and he breaks the back brace that he was wearing so he wouldn't be hunched over. Yeah, it gets really weird. They do some weird like face stuff in this with the Croods especially. Like they turn back into Neanderthals several times in really kind of unsettling moments, body horror type moments. We see Guy looking through the photo album of like crudely drawn outlines of people, like silhouettes of people.
Just stick figures.
Yeah, with Belt, and he catches Dawn, Eep, and Chunky sneaking back from beyond the wall. Like, I understand why Dawn is kind of drunk in this moment, but why is Chunky acting the way that he is? Because he's like passed out. Like
I think he's just tired because they've been running.
Yeah, I took it he was tired, and then I also was wondering if maybe the implication is that honey was fermented, and so
that's what I thought it was.
Some kind of alcohol.
Through the first time, I thought maybe they were drunk from that fermenting, but she specifically says that she's acting weird because of the bee venom. Which
because
he's upset when he sees Dawn drunk on bee venom, I guess. And to find out, Eep took Dawn out for a joyride without the Betterman's permission. It's like he's become the parent all of a sudden. He's the dad figure. Guy is shocked at Dawn's balloon hand and scolds his girlfriend for being impulsive and putting Dawn in harm's way. Eep is confused since Guy usually likes adventures, but he says things are different now, and then he calls Eep a cave girl. Might have well just have called her a troglodyte. Wait, no, that's what a troglodyte is.
Troglodyte.
Yeah. Eep crawls up the tree after a Guy while making noises like Gollum for some reason.
I'll give him a cave girl.
That was weird. I don't know. She turns back into a cave person at that point, I guess. Same as her parents. At dinner, Thunk eats a flower arrangement, which disgusts Hope again, who has just gone full insufferable bitch at this point in the movie. Uga and Grug say they're not hungry, while Guy tries to get Dawn to the table without causing any suspicion. She's like drunkenly passing out, and I don't know, should have just taken her to her cabin or whatever. Eep crawls in through a window and yells at Guy for calling her a cave girl while she eats and drinks like the dirty troglodyte she is. She's just like doing that mead pitcher thing, like drinking it from the side, or like the moonshine drink. Phil asks Grug to tell everyone about his great idea of leaving the farm without Guy, and Grug screams that Phil tricked him into saying it after slathering him in essential oils and feeding him shark milk and Diddy's Cave or whatever. Hope is upset to hear Phil has a cave he goes to escape his family, and Dawn reveals her swollen hand while pointing at them for trying to fix her up with Guy. Phil and Hope are mortified to find out Dawn went outside the wall and say it's all the Croods' fault. The wives both yell at their husbands. Gran reveals that she has a rodent of some sort for hair. And the baby chases it on the table while everything just devolves into madness until Grug slams his fists on the table and says, "Come on, Guy, we're leaving." Guy is mad that Grug wanted him gone and now suddenly wants him back, while Grug says Guy was trying to take his daughter away. Guy tries to get Eep to agree that life is better on this hippie commune, but Eep is upset that Guy hates her way of life and says she doesn't even know who he is anymore with his douchey hair, his neck rock, and his non-stench, I guess. He smells like vanilla and, yeah, like a tampon commercial. Guy, do you douche? Guy says this is the tomorrow that he's been searching for his whole life and that it's his new home. Eep says she clearly doesn't belong and asks him to come along with her when she leaves, but he says he can't. She gives him back his engagement rock and runs away while Phil fills the awkward silence by asking who wants dessert. Grug answers by saying, "I told you we're not hungry," and throws a banana peel on the table. Then he tells Phil that he and Uga ate every single banana on the entire farm. He's like, "That's not possible." "Well, it is for cave people." Phil freaks out and runs to see the shell we saw earlier full of banana peels instead of full bananas. Guy finds Phil crying with Grug watching the little beta cuck sobbing. And if Guy's parents were anything like the Bettermans, I can see why they died so easily in that tar pit.
Do you hit him? No. I thought about it.
I like that.
That was great.
Act 3, The Resolution.
Phil says the bananas were the key to their survival and were the only thing keeping them safe. Suddenly, we see the trees beyond the wall rustling, and Phil says something has come for the bananas for 100 moons or more, and bananas are the only thing that keeps it at bay. Suddenly, the wall splits open as Phil screams in terror, and when the dust settles, we see one little monkey on the ground. Grug laughs his ass off while Phil looks on embarrassed. But of course, it turns out to be thousands of punch monkeys who run at the trio before taking them off into the darkness.
Something about that laugh he did was so. It was so good. It felt so genuine. Like it felt like Cage cracking up. It was great.
Wait, let me understand something. You had no idea you were working for an itty bitty monkey?
His acting on the whole was great in this one.
Yeah, I would say this is the first time we really felt a character out of Grug.
Yeah.
Whereas in the first movie, it just kind of felt like Cage. But
I don't know what.
It really
I don't know
feels
what
like
happened,
a character.
But yeah, it did. Maybe
Probably
it was
better
those directors
directing.
again.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it, I guess, when we get to ratings.
Dunk comes back from dinner to see the wall destroyed through his window TV, and he alerts Hope, a.k.a. Mrs. Better Mom. Also love that joke that he keeps calling them a better mom, a better dad. She and the rest of the women, Sloss and Thunk, enlist the help of their dog baby, who has the nose of a bloodhound. This kid is going to grow up to be one of the side characters from Road Warrior, I'm pretty sure.
It reminds me of that baby or that kid. Just like, throws the boomerang blade into somebody's head. That's what the baby's going to do in the third movie.
And then
throw
the
a boomerang into somebody's head. That's something I wish somebody would do someday is like take a kid's movie and make a really dark sequel to it. It's like R-rated. It's so confusing to the parents, but it'd be so awesome.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. I just R-rated Rugrats.
Yeah.
Hope tries to hide with Dawn in the panic cubby thing we saw earlier, but Dawn insists on joining the Croods on the hunt, much to her mom's terror, but they both follow after the rest. We cut to Grug, Guy, and Phil all trapped in a log being passed along by the punch monkeys, while Guy talks to himself about how complicated girls are. We cut to Eep doing the same thing on the tusk of Chunky, the macawnivore. Liger, I don't know.
It's a macaw cat.
Yeah, he's half macaw, half carnivore.
Yeah.
Macawnivore.
She's writing on a tablet about how much of a douche Guy has become, and they both separately but in split screen conclude their relationship is over. Dawn tries to make Eep feel better, and Gran pops in to tell him that in her day they didn't have boy problems since they were a warrior clan of naked women that called themselves the Thunder Sisters, which for some reason becomes the entire premise of the rest of the movie. We were a group of naked warriors. Okay.
So how did she have a kid?
Yeah. Well,
maybe that would have been an original
Never mind.
prequel movie. The Thunder Sisters.
We see Gran getting smashed by
Yeah.
some caveman. Things were different back in my day. Just see him pulling her into the cave by her foot.
Oh, fuck. Helga and Hope argue over whether they should cross a bridge filled with land sharks, and Hope steers the murder cat off the edge into the river. We cut to the men arriving at the Punch Monkey compound, where they fall to the bottom of a pit, and Greg screams,
Come on, punch monkeys! Let's get this on!
in a very cagey manner. I can't do it justice. Before he gets the absolute shit beaten out of him by like 30 different variants of monkeys with different punch, kick, and headbutt abilities. And a dude with weird eyes.
I like the way he says it. Like, his emphasis on dude is so cagey.
Suddenly, the David Koresh of this compound reveals himself to be a blind old monkey, and a guy reluctantly says he's fluent in Punch Monkey. What a coincidence, me too. But more like in Spank Monkey, if you know what I mean.
I think we're all pretty fluent in
Yeah.
Spank Monkey.
It's like,
Oh, fuck.
you know, American Sign
Guy in the
Language.
old...
Use your hands a lot.
That's the only language I'm fluent in. Guy and the old blind monkey communicate by slapping each other in the face for the next few minutes, and it's revealed that their home was a paradise, but someone diverted the water away, which caused all the bananas to die, and now they're no longer able to feed some giant evil monster from killing them since it took their bananas as payment. Phil tries to solve the problem by telling the monkeys to divert water, but he quickly realizes that he was the one who ruined their lush paradise, while Guy is translating what he's saying, which causes the monkeys to freak out. Phil tries to get them out of the situation by sharpening a stick, but he just inadvertently teaches the monkeys how to do it, making things worse than they already were.
I love this joke because it's like he teaches them to sharpen the stick, and then he teaches them to make fire, and then they like mention that he taught them how to make their knots better.
Knots, yeah.
The knots were atrocious.
Oh fuck! Peter Dinklage is amazing in this.
He crushed it. He brought so much life to that character.
Yeah. So is Leslie Mann. Like I feel like she's
she was
so
awesome.
good at playing that like kind of stuck up bitch, but also lovable at the same time.
And comedic. Yeah.
Yeah.
The women in One Note Thunk, whose entire character motivation is trying to look through windows and sticks in the shape of squares since it resembles a window, make their way to some weird-ass frozen ice world where ice trees just instantly grow out of the ground. Kids, they're so hopelessly addicted to technology that their parent gave them. It's so true.
It's like it's a joke, but it's like you're the reason they're addicted to technology. You get that, right?
Yeah.
They didn't, buy themselves an iPad.
No. I remember in the good old days when we used to look through actual windows instead of virtual windows. Gran again starts screaming about how she used to be the matriarch of a tribe of warrior women, and then reveals that her hair is some sort of red-nosed flying weasel that caws like a crow and a hawk for some reason. Wiggis flies off her head to go track the men, and Hope loses it since she's surrounded by freaks.
This was my wife's favorite joke in the whole movie was Wiggis's. She really wants one now. Like a plush of Wiggis's. Which they don't make, apparently. Yeah.
That's
shocker.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Hope yells at them all individually, calling Thunk a peeping Tom and Sandy a stupid rat baby before screaming at Eep for giving her daughter scars and stupid ideas. Hope tries to run away from the cave people towards home, but she slips into a cave where she gets trapped in an ice geyser tree thing and then nearly eaten by a spider dog. Because, why not? You remember these are weird ass animals in this world, so just ramp it up, baby. The Croods come to her rescue, and a handful of these wolf spiders surround them. But Dawn notices a puppy dog spider cowering in fear, and she tells them all to lower their weapons. Then she says that the dog spider isn't a monster, but rather a mom who's scared for her baby's safety. So obviously comparing the horrifying nightmare chimera the movie invented to her mom. Which I think is pretty accurate.
They just tried to make them cute, but they're like fucking spiders. I don't know.
They're fucking spider dogs.
Wolf spiders.
Spider wolves.
Creepy.
Terrifying. Dawn goes on to say the Bettermans and the Outsiders are friends, and they should live in harmony together forever. Thunk goes and pets the wolf spiders after making 20 more window jokes, but unfortunately they don't eat them.
They're petting me back with their teeth. Didn't like that joke.
We see a dream sequence where Guy imagines Eep as a giant, and he wakes up when she crushes him with their engagement rock thing. He finds himself in some sort of rib cage jail, and Phil again tries to use his superior intellect to scare the punch monkeys, this time with fire. And again, he just inadvertently teaches them how to make fire of their own.
As I say, he's the 2001 obelisk monolith for these monkeys.
Yeah. The weird ass granny hair creature finds the trio in the jail and heads back to alert the women, but is struck by lightning and falls out of the sky. Olga finds Eep punching down trees and kicking 500-pound boulders around with her bare feet. Probably how she lost her toe. Ugga asks what's wrong, and Eep breaks down over Guy choosing the Bettermans over her. And Ugga says Guy is worth fighting for if she really loves him. We cut to Hope freezing after being thawed from the ice tree thing. And Dawn asks why she doesn't join the sleep pile. Graham pulls
I have
Hope
a shawl. I'm fine.
Flows away. I'll just keep warm with the fruit basket.
Oh, damn it.
Graham pulls Hope into the pile with her cane, and Hope is horrified at first, but quickly realizes it's better than freezing to death. So she apologizes to Ugga and Eep for being a bitch all this time.
Obviously, your baby's not a rat. Who says that? Nice little like coming to terms, at least for her. It takes a long time for Phil.
Yeah.
To stop being an asshole.
Yeah. We cut to Grug and Phil in Punch Monkey Thunderdome before revealing Guy's David Koresh's monkey's new Princess Leia, which was sexy.
He's even like laying like Leia.
He's like, I got a job now. It's a sex slave.
I got a thing going. Good thing going on.
Don't mess it up.
Phil again is a douche, saying the monkey
David
should
Koresh
take...
monkey is good to me. Okay? He gives me shark milk and everything.
Phil is again a douche, saying the monkey should take Grug as their slave, and then he and Grug smack each other around for a bit before Guy breaks it up. He tells them they're going to mess everything up like they did with his relationship with Eep, prompting Phil to say, please understand, Guy, it's Grug's fault, which makes Grug tackle him. And then they fight till they're in their underwear for some reason. It's just a lot of semi-homoerotic undertones in this film for some reason.
The only thing that's semi.
They call each other bad fathers, then pass out, and then they wake up to Guy in a banana costume where he says they're going to be sacrificed to the monster so the punch monkeys don't die. Gran's hair creature returns, partially burnt, and tells the old lady where the men are.
I kind of glossed over it, but it's like they learn that words can hurt as much as punching each other.
That's
and then Guy realizes that his words hurt Eep. So like, I don't know, like he didn't realize that at all before.
Yeah. Eep says, what would the Thunder Sisters do? And Graham rips off her clothes, revealing a six-pack, and she puts face paint on all of the other women, giving them new tribe names. Oh, also Hope's hair is like all puffy now since it got wet. It's all froed out.
I thought they were going to use
like,
it to fly like they did in the first movie.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah.
Flying with the whatever those flying batfish things were, whatever they were. That they were going to, her hair was going to catch the wind and fly him over to the castle.
Sandy is Seeker, Eep is Fireheart, Ugga, Bloodhorn, Thunk is just Thunk, Dawn is Sister Sunset, and Hope is Bogwater. Then Eep and Dawn say, Thunder Sisters, like 14 times, and they all charge towards where Guy, Grug, and Phil are being held on the backs of the dog spiders and the mecanivore. All right. Even on acid, I don't think I could come up with this shit. It's like, this is fucking weird.
It's like nice 80s metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like those old 80 metal comics.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of like a heavy metal comic.
Yeah. I've been reading a lot of those, so yeah, it was definitely like they were inspired. Those fantasy comics.
Yeah.
Warrior women.
Like that episode of South Park, the cat piss one.
Yeah.
Heavy metal.
We see the men in banana costumes waiting to be sacrificed, and Grug apologizes for eating all the bananas. Guy says he wishes he would have been able to see Eep one last time, calling her his first and only love. Phil tells Guy that his parents loved him very much, and all they wanted was for him to find happiness. So Eep is his tomorrow that he's been searching for his whole life. Grug says he'd be proud to have Guy as his son, and Phil says he and Grug aren't so different since they're both profoundly foolish fathers obsessed with bananas. Just your typical closeted suburban dads. The giant monster reveals itself to be some sort of porcupine baboon. And just before it can eat the men, the Thunder Sisters show up to save the day, complete with their new names on the screen. The Punch Monkeys charge them, but the sisters kick their asses in slow-mo, accompanied by some 80s hair metal blaring behind the fight. It's pretty hard.
It's pretty horrifying to think that there are giant monsters walking around in this world. Like, especially like at the end when they decide to knock all the walls down so they're open to the world. That seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah. The monster puts the men in its mouth, but Owigasis flies into its nose, causing the creature to sneeze, sending the men flying. The wolf spiders shoot webs out of their dog asses to grab the men, and they run as the giant baboon porcupine chases them, destroying the Punch Monkey's home in the process, which is a scene directly ripped off from Fast Five when they're racing through the streets of Brazil with the safe attached to the back of those Chargers. See, look, every film draws from great cinema.
Yeah, the pinnacle of cinema.
The pinnacle of
Yeah, man,
cinema.
if you're going to steal from the best.
Dom Toretto comes out and says, family. Phil and Greg
That's who will play Don's boyfriend in
Yeah,
Vince Eagle.
that's right.
Vin
yeah.
Diesel.
Vin Diesel shows up.
We got it.
Let's write it right now.
Let's try it. Phil and Grug get tossed out of the bowl they are in and out of their banana suits, where Grug says, the pack stays together, bro. And he and Phil hug each other while Mr. Strange by Boy George plays for some reason, and they call each other Banana Bros. And Grug spins Phil in the air like in Dirty Dancing. Guess they're insinuating there will be a lot of steam baths in the man cave in their future.
Yeah, sure seems like it.
Eep leads the monsters to some sort of bone cave, and we see the rest of the group safe outside aside from Eep and Guy. Guy saves Eep from being crushed, and they scramble to a skull or something suspended in the air while the creature tries to get them from below. Guy tells Eep that he spent his whole life searching for a place called Tomorrow, but she's his tomorrow, and he gives her back the rock. Going back to the rock, boys. The ape thing almost gets them, but the Bettermans and Croods show up to chuck rocks at its head until Thunk throws a rock that spins a stick into the monster's eye, which is a recurring joke.
Yeah, it happens like 3 times in the movie.
Yeah.
Kind of glossed over.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. The creature starts trying to kill them instead of Eep and Guy, so they use the stone around Guy's neck combined with the engagement rock to start a fire, which burns the vines holding the skull, which then drops down onto the monkey porcupine thing, which causes it to fall into a giant hole in the ground. And of course, because it's the Croods, they can't just have a simple ending. They got to have like false endings. The monkey comes back for one last scare and nearly pulls Eep into the abyss, but the creature mistakenly holds on to her by her peanut toe. So she just pops it off and it falls to its death.
Then she
Not
smoked
really sure
its
how-
ruin across the mountainside.
I'm not really sure how a 30-foot tall, thousands of pound creature was supposed to be supported by a peanut shell for even that small second, but whatever. Don't think about that, folks. We cut
By
to the
the way,
Croods and
just so the kids know, just knocking 2 random rocks together will not create a fire.
I mean, they'll find it out when they try it, and it doesn't work. Every kid tries it.
Yeah.
yeah, it just breaks the rocks. At least from my experience, it just cracks them and splits them. But no,
Just
cut to
breaks the
Croods and-
skull of the cat I was hitting them on, and as a child, you know.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Fluffy. Sorry. I still haven't forgiven myself for that.
Oh, God damn it. All right. We cut to the Croods and Bettermans returning to the farm, and we see that the Punch Monkeys moved in next door, have all they need now, and are best buds with Phil and Grug. We see Eep and Guy leaving the pack to start their own, but it turns out they're just like moving into a hut across the bridge. It's like 10 feet away. But this still makes Grug a blubbering mess.
Like, Phil is fluent in Punch Monkey, and he chats with him, but then Grug is getting punched in the face over and over again.
Come
again.
Again.
My
Come
favorite
again.
joke was when Phil and he's like, then Phil Phil and Greg are punching each other. It's just like rock, 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 rock.
Oh, yeah.
And then later on it comes back when they're fighting.
Yeah.
Then we come back to Sash saying dun 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 while giving Belt a rock with a heart on it. Gran wearing a new creature on her head. Another thunk window iPad joke. Because we got to beat that into the ground. And finally, Phil and Greg bringing some Bronana bread to the table.
Bronana bread.
We see the wolf spiders and Chunky and all of the creatures living happily in their new paradise. And everything is right with the world before cutting to Wigasis flying into the camera. Next, we get a 7.5 minute long credit sequence showing how happy everyone is in this new polygamous cult retreat. While Jack Black sings, "I Think I Love You."
Yeah, that was weird.
So weird.
Why get Jack Black just for the credits? Why not have
I don't
them
know.
singing early in the... I guess they had to have the Partridge
well-
Family version earlier in the movie, and then the
Jack Black will be Vin Diesel's dad in the sequel.
I guess when you work with him on Kung Fu Panda, you can get him to do
That's true.
covers.
He's probably friends with Mark Mothersbaugh.
I feel like it was also something that just happened because of the pandemic, and he had time
Could
to
be.
work on music.
Yeah,
and
he did a
stuff.
lot of that stuff. He
Yeah.
did a lot of like YouTube recordings and stuff. So yeah,
They're just wondering what the secret ingredient of Bronana bread is after they go into their steam cave.
Semen.
yeah. I mean, you could substitute bananas for eggs when you're making vegan food because of the protein in it. So maybe you could substitute eggs for protein.
Protein.